Hi there, Drakkar. It is Hannah here, and welcome to your How You Meet the Other birth chart reading. Now, I just wanted to jump on here quickly and say hello to you, and to also thank you so much for purchasing this reading from myself. I hope that you're able to truly benefit from the reading today, and that you're able to move forward in both practical and constructive ways. So yeah, Drakkar, with all that being said, I thank you for your patience. And let's get right into your birth chart reading.
Okay, Drakkar. So, firstly, to begin your reading, I would like to highlight that your most dominant signs are Aquarius, followed by Taurus. And then your most dominant planets are Uranus, followed by the Sun. And most of your chart is comprised of fixed Earth. And of course, fixed Earth is the combination that makes up for the sign of Taurus within astrology. So let's get right into your reading through there. And this is quite fitting because this is the How You Meet the Other birth chart reading, and Taurus rules your 7th house of one-on-one relationships. Now, of course, you are a Taurus yourself, so meaning your sun sign is Taurus. But with you having this sun in Taurus in your 7th house, well, it may be that it's actually through other people that you learn how to really cultivate your own Taurus energy. So, for example, when it comes to your one-on-one relationships, you may find a lot of purpose or a lot of meaning through those relationships that are associated with qualities such as being grounded and stable and patient and comforting and quite indulgent as well. You may really enjoy the thought of just relaxing with a partner, indulging in great food and drink with a partner. You may actually love this so much that a lot of your ego, so with the sun, okay, representing the ego, and also your vitality, your life force. It's these very things that just soak this up, or you basically want to indulge in things that make you feel good, make you feel valued, and you're going to do this through other people. You're going to do this through the things that you can even gain through other people as well. So even when it comes to materials and physical items, you might enjoy just going shopping with your partner or doing things that are physical with your partner. You may enjoy sensual experiences with your partner. You may be attracted to certain people who just ignite all of these things within you. Now, the thing about this is that, well, with the sun is opposite Pluto here, okay? And what this could suggest is that there can be power struggles, there can be a sense of control and dominance between you and other people. So certain relationships that you get into, there may be this stubbornness that can come out of you where perhaps maybe you want to go and do your own thing. You want a little bit of freedom. You want to be able to explore a little bit. But then the partner is stubborn. The partner doesn't want you to, and you may push back against that. Or it could be the other way, where the partner may want a bit more freedom themselves, but then you might try to have some sort of say or control over what they're doing as well. So whilst you may really just enjoy the simple pleasures in life with your partner and within your relationships, there can also be this feeling of the two of you trying to overpower one another. There can be control in that way. However, the reason for why this might be is perhaps when it comes to finances, okay? So maybe money is used as a way to manipulate each other. So there could be manipulation involved where money and materials come into it, and you may have this very cutthroat attitude towards it. You may be in an experience where you're willing to just cut your losses and just be like, okay, well, whatever, bye. You're not gonna use me through money or through resources to have control or power over me. You may have that sort of attitude towards the partner. Or this could be that your partner may look at you as a sort of possession, okay? Where maybe they feel like they own you. Now, this could also be the other way around, because with oppositions, it's this back and forth. So it's this sort of balancing act. So trying to bring this into an equilibrium is really helpful here. Now, this also could be that it's to do with value. So your value system may be based upon you being able to explore new territories and being able to have freedom to do what you want, within reason, of course. You know, you're still going to be committed and loyal, but if it gets to a point where that partner does not appreciate your loyalty or your commitment to them, you might sway a little bit or have the curiosity, the wonder to want to explore or get away from that certain relationship. So I think what's important here is learning how to express that to a partner, learning how to come to some sort of agreement in that regard, learning to accept one another as well, especially when it comes to the beginning stages of a relationship, okay? Because what's quite interesting is that you have Pisces ruling your 5th house. Now, the 5th house can be associated with dating and romance. So this is the sort of spark of a new relationship, okay? So you going out on a date with a significant other and you're getting to know them, right? And the thing with Pisces on the 5th is that things can be a little bit deceiving. Things can be a bit confusing. So what you might do is you might have a certain image in your mind over the ideal type of date you would like to go on or have with someone else. So a certain romantic affair that you enter into, you may have an idea of, oh, well, I want this person to be like this, or, oh, this is so great. And you may just put all of these different labels, or you may have all these different ideas that you want to bring into it. But the thing is with Pisces is that whenever, for example, something does not add up to the ideal, there can be disappointment, there can be confusion, and there can be a little bit of chaos in that regard. So maybe learning how to, at the beginning of a relationship that you form, learning how to really lay out the qualities that you see and learning how to actually be realistic about those qualities. Yes, you know, it's good to dream, it's good to fantasize, it's good to sort of get into like a, as you could say, romantic affair that is really wonderful and it's blissful and it's etheric and lovely. It's good to feel all those things, and of course at the beginning of any relationship there can be that honeymoon stage where it's all just butterflies, or you're getting to know someone for the first time and you're seeing them in a certain light. But then as you progress further, of course, into a relationship, they expose more of themselves, they share more of themselves, you share more of you. And so as you get deeper and deeper into that relationship, you might start to realize that there are certain things that maybe you did not see at the beginning, and so you can become a little bit scared, or you may want to run away, or you may feel a little bit dissatisfied with the experience. So learning how to identify what you really do like and appreciate about that person or partner, that person that you're romantically involved with, and also just trying to identify, well, what is it you want from a romantic affair, and also what are your boundaries, okay? What can often happen with Pisces on the 5th is there can be the lack of boundaries. There can be people overstepping the mark, but not being aware that they're overstepping the mark. So the importance here being knowing what you're willing to tolerate from another person. So I think this, if we look back at the 2nd house, okay, looking at those values, looking at what it is that you really value about yourself, about your physical body, about the material world, about life in general, when it comes to your physical security. What is it that you want physically? How do you want to provide for yourself? And so does that physicality add up with the relationship side of things, with a romantic affair? Because if it doesn't, and you don't have the same values, now, of course, you don't have to have the exact same values, but it does help to know the values here. So you can identify for yourself, do you want to be with this person or do you not? Would you much rather prefer somebody else who maybe is a better fit for you? Or do you want to sort of continue on and sort of work through that relationship, So looking at what you value, and then also going into this fifth house and assessing your own boundaries, your own limitations, okay? So with that in mind, when we go back round to this seventh house, when it comes to the commitment, when it comes to you being in a one-on-one relationship with someone, you are going to be a reliable partner, or at least that's what, or at least that could be the sort of partner that you are attracted to. Someone who is reliable, someone who values your ego, someone who appreciates you, because you have the sun in Taurus in the seventh. So this partner is maybe seen as this sense of validation to you. Now, it's also being careful not to depend completely on a partner to validate you, okay? It's really important with the sun in the seventh for you to learn how to validate yourself, how to validate your own value system, how to validate your own personality, your own characteristics, who you are. But then also trying to come together into a union with someone else, and also seeing that, well, there's two people involved then, or there is more than just you in it. So as soon as, we enter into a relationship, it's important to keep in mind that as soon as that person is with us, as soon as that person is with you, they're there. They have their own thoughts, emotions, things they're going through, but also remembering that you have your own thoughts and emotions and things that you're going through as well. So the importance here, I guess, maybe lies in actually communicating what you think, how you feel, what you want to do, what you want from the relationship. That could be of an importance here. Now, what's further interesting is that you've got Mercury here. Now, Mercury is right on that cusp. Mercury is right on that cusp between the 6th and the 7th house. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into the 7th house because it's at 2 degrees and your descendant is at 2 degrees as well. So we're going to put Mercury into the 7th. So looking at how you communicate your values, what you appreciate, the things that you want from a relationship with someone else, but also learning to listen and be gentle and kind towards what they want as well, and then trying to come to some sort of mutual agreement or some sort of equilibrium with it. Now, also with Mercury in the 7th, you may think a lot about relationships. You may think differently, I suppose, when it comes to other people. You may have a certain stable set way of how you view relationships, and you may not want to go outside of those boundaries or those lines. So whilst, yes, with Pisces on the 5th, romance and dating and everything, there is this you getting swept away by your emotions and wanting so badly to be with a romantic partner, and you idolize them. Well, when push comes to shove, when commitment comes into play, whenever things are said and you don't agree, you may be very quick to say, no, I don't want that, or no, I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's okay. Now, it could also be the other way around. The partner may do that to you, and you may actually be quite, you may not want to bring up what you're really thinking, perhaps out of fear of that losing them or not being in the relationship anymore, because that can also happen with this. But at the same time, it could also be that you can be very sure of, well, these are my lines, these are my boundaries actually, and now is the time for me to say and speak up. But those times that you say it or you speak up may only be whenever it's really gotten to a point where there's that solid commitment, okay? But trying to build up to that, of course, is what's needed. Or trying to get to that point where there is loyalty, where there is respect, and there is a feeling of real togetherness. Now, this is also very interesting because when we get to Venus, okay, Venus being the planet of love and attraction, it's in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of commitment, like proper, intense commitment where it's intimacy, it's bonding, it's this deep exchange of energy between people. So when you sort of cross that threshold of being with someone, for a while, but then entering into this intimate connection, you may only really want to be with someone intimately if they can stimulate your mind long enough, if they can hold your focus, hold your attention long enough. So trying to build up to that may be quite important. Someone who is intellectual, someone who shares facts with you, someone who wants to communicate, someone who does different fun, quick, interesting things with you. Basically, somebody who can keep you on your toes is the type of person that you may be really interested in being with intimately. Even when it comes to sex in association with intimacy, you may enjoy talking about sex with your partner. You may enjoy phone sex with your partner. You may enjoy sexting them. You may enjoy exposing certain sexual secrets or exposing sexual experiences with your partner as a way to bring you together. And better yet, if they expose past secretive traumatic experiences with you in association with sex, you may look at that as quite a vulnerable thing, and you may look at that as, oh my goodness, they're sharing this with me. This must mean that they really want to be with me, or that they really care. And so perhaps being with someone where you're just both honest about your own thoughts, just to share it, just to bring it up rather than hiding things. Now, you may also be a little bit secretive when it comes to these things as well. So perhaps one of the reasons for why this could be is, well, Venus is also opposite Pluto. So maybe you've had a past experience with a partner before where you've felt undervalued, where you've felt like, well, you brought up secrets, you brought up things that are important to you, perhaps traumatic things from your past, but maybe that was used against you in some way. This could also be an association with shared finances, okay? Could have been that there was an experience by which you and a partner shared finances in some way. It could have been a contract. It could have been some sort of an agreement. It could have been some sort of bill, anything to do with money. But not just money. It could also just be an exchange of energy between the two of you that you really, really cared about a lot. But it's these things that may have then affected you at a later stage, or it sort of bit you in the ass, or something just happened that left you feeling a little bit mentally scattered, or them mentally scattered, and then ultimately feeling betrayed, or like that partner was distrustful or disloyal, or they just turned their back on you in some way. So I think that in terms of relationships moving forward, it's trying to sort of navigate yourself in a way where you're aware of what you're signing, who you're with, and what you're saying, what you're bringing up when it comes to financial matters and material matters. Just learning how to be a bit more smart about it. Now, also, this could be siblings, all right? So even if you've not necessarily been in a relationship before where this has happened, but maybe from sibling interactions in the past, maybe that's made you a little bit more hesitant from sharing or exposing completely certain things about yourself or certain things that you value. So, overall, I think when it comes to the relationship side of things here, I just see that having a partner that takes your vulnerabilities and keeps them safe, keeps them really safe, and is loyal with those vulnerabilities, is committed to you, is appreciative of what you're sharing with them, may be very important here, Drakkar, okay? Now, let's also move around here and look at this Mercury opposite Chiron. So if we were to put Mercury in the 7th house, and then we have Chiron in Libra retrograde in the 12th, well, first of all, Chiron in Libra, it can suggest this really ugly breakup. It can suggest a divorce between your parents. It can suggest difficulty trusting in relationships. It can suggest rejection. It can suggest not feeling like you're worthy of love. Okay? There may be some sort of wound associated with relationships here that has deeply hurt you, and because it's in the 12th house, you may want to escape from this situation. You may want to run away and hide. You may hate the thought or get all choked up at the thought of being with someone in a union because of how much it's hurt you before, or because of how you've seen relationships play out within your life. So, especially here with Chiron opposite Mercury in the 7th, maybe your own communication was not appreciated. And that's something that really has impacted you in a way that made you just sort of get to a point where you think, well, why bother? Why bother bringing out my own thoughts? Or why bother communicating the things that I enjoy or I appreciate, because it's always about that other person. This could be a narcissistic type of person in your life. This can be a controlling person in your life. This can be someone who's tried to just have the say over you for a lot of your life. And that has maybe impacted you in a way that's made it a bit more difficult for you to really express, well, what you think in a relationship. And, this could also impact you spiritually in this way too, because this is Chiron in the 12th house. So this could even be not necessarily with people in your life, but your relationship with God, your relationship of your concept of God even, So looking at, well, what it is that you believe in, and do you believe in a higher power? Because with Chiron in the 12th, it may be that you don't really believe in a higher power. And you do also have Chiron square Neptune, okay? And Neptune is the ruler of the 12th house, and Neptune can be associated with a higher power. It can be associated with spirituality. So you may not think that you're an overly spiritual person. You may not believe in certain spiritual practices, or it might be that you want to and you think about it, but actually taking the time to do those things is something that you just don't make time for. So for example, meditation may be something that you may think, oh yeah, that would be a good idea to do that, to help ground yourself with this Mercury in Taurus, but you don't do it. you don't make time to do it. Maybe you're just so consumed by the physical world, by all the things that you have to do physically and attend to within the physical world, that taking time out of your daily routine or out of your day to sit and meditate, or not even just meditate, but just to relax, okay? Literally just to let go. Okay, you may just feel like you're just constantly on this treadmill, just go, 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 go in that way. So maybe there's something to be said here about you taking the time out of your day to actually do something that's different to what you normally do. Okay, now, also, you have, speaking of your physical world and go, 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 you have Mars and Moon in Virgo in your 11th house. Now, Mars is drive, initiation, action. So to have it in Virgo is you attending to all the practical day-to-day things that you got to attend to. You may be very much on the ball, on the go. You may be very aware of all the things that you have to do throughout your day. You may have a certain routine that you attend to, that you really stick to, and that's the thing that you're focused on a lot. That's the thing that drives you. But then also with the moon conjunct Mars, well, this energy, this can suggest that a lot of your emotions are caught up in actually attending to your day-to-day responsibilities. But because Mars is conjunct the moon, you might sort of, it's almost like if you don't do all the tasks that you got to do, you may break down, or you may get angry, you may get frustrated, or you may get irritated over people that don't do the things that you do the way you do them, you know? So, for example, if someone's coming to you with their excuses over certain things, you may be very, oh, I don't understand why you don't do it this way whenever I do it this way and I'm fine. So maybe you're that type of person, right, who takes on a lot of responsibility. You take on so much. But yeah, other people who slack off, or who get like a free pass to do what they want, maybe that upsets you a bit, because you're over here and you're putting so much of your energy into completing your tasks, but yet other people, or maybe people within your friendship circle, within your friend group, they're just not adding up to the sort of expectations that you place on them. So maybe there's something to be said here about you learning how to really just hone this in on yourself a little bit, maybe. Now, the North Node is also in Virgo in your 11th house. So with this is about you learning how to resonate with people who maybe appreciate your skill set, or appreciate how you do things, or learning how to associate yourself with people who also maybe have similar interests as you, or who are like-minded towards your own practical way of doing things. You may sort of get a bit annoyed that, oh, I just can't find the right types of people to be with, or you just can't find that group that gets you in the way that is of service, or in the way that's efficient and quite quote unquote together. And people just may be really elusive, or they don't stick to their plans, or they don't they don't follow through with certain things. And you may just get into these points in your life where you're like, oh, you just want to get away from it, or you just can't be bothered with people who are just shady or just really confusing. And so maybe there's something to be said here about you learning how to find those people who you can resonate with in a practical way, who actually are more grounded, or people that get your own system, who get you a lot better. But maybe it's also you learning to lay off a little bit and let go of a lot of that, trying to find groups of people who can work with you towards achieving specific goals and meeting certain requirements together, but also just, learning how to let go a little bit of certain people that no longer serve you, or learning how to let go of those high expectations that you can place on people that can be quite unhealthy or quite critical towards others. There can just be this mentality where you can criticize the group or criticize everybody else and what they're doing, and then you think you maybe feel a little bit isolated, or a little bit people don't really get you, because it just doesn't correlate, or it doesn't add up to what your perception is. So maybe trying to sort of stemming this back, learning how to form healthier boundaries with the people that you associate yourself with. So rather than coming from a place that wants to fix people and all that, but also trying not to get caught up or tangled up in other people's confusing melodramatics and all these things, but to detach a little bit from all that, to step back into your own space for a bit, learning how to focus on your goals, what you're doing, being realistic about your goals, being practical about your goals, but at the same time, not criticizing everybody else. It's just like, you're doing your thing, they're doing theirs, and if you don't associate with their type of way of doing things, then if you want to communicate that with them, then great, communicate it and express how you feel and say, but also appreciating that everybody's different in how they handle things in their different experiences. Because if you get so caught up in, oh my gosh, this person's doing this and it's wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong, you're just going to get yourself into this quite negative mindset, or into a pretty critical mindset that takes you away from the group, when it's about trying to just work on your own craft, hone it in on yourself. And those types of people that merge with you or associate with you in a healthy way, they will come, So yeah, trying to just figure out a system that works for you, but also realizing that system can be helpful towards other people. And it's those people who are like-minded to you who will gravitate towards you. All right? This could even be you learning how to bring your ideas of health and cleanliness and hygiene to others, or learning how to associate with like-minded people who get this about you as well. So when it comes to relationships, yeah, you can be quite energized and you can be quite active in your relationships and friendships with others. Your emotions may get tied in with your friendships and different groups and clubs that you're a part of. But it can be to a point where it can just be a bit too consuming, or it can just feel a bit much. So yeah, taking the time to just figure out, well, how much are you contributing and how much are you getting back, and how does that feel, maybe is important to assess here, Drakkar. Alright, so to finish off your reading, Drakkar, we're going to look at Neptune retrograde in your third house. Now, what's interesting is that Neptune is at 29 degrees, so it's a critical degree. There's a lot of reoccurring themes that may happen throughout your life when it comes to this. So what I mean by this is that, well, when it came to early education and schooling, you might have gotten lost in your imagination. You might have had vivid dreams over the things that you were learning, or you might have thought differently in response to the things you were learning. Maybe whenever teachers or members of authority were teaching you, you might have gotten easily distracted, or you might have questioned what they were saying. You might have not really engaged very well, or kind of just thought more deeply about things in your own way. You could have been quite contemplative. Also, you might have been quite sensitive towards the information that you were taking in. So maybe if there were certain subjects that were being taught, you could have just been impacted emotionally, or you might have felt it quite difficult to process certain information that you were learning. Or it might be that you fell victim sometimes to other people in school. This could also be your classmates' relationships. So maybe you felt victimized by certain classmates, maybe you felt victimized by certain teachers, or like if you spoke up against teachers, or if you broke the rules in any way, then they might have asserted their authority. But this could have been over the most, ridiculous of things in your mind. It's interesting because whilst you have Capricorn ruling the third house, that can be very rational in its thought processes, with Neptune retrograde, the rationality, it sort of turns into pictures and images, and lines can be blurred. So, for example, you may be having a conversation with someone and you might get these images or visions in your mind over what they're saying. You might even get into these certain loopholes these certain loops where you replay something over and over and over in your mind, and you may find it hard to let go of it. So with the Scorpio rising, you may obsess and get quite deep into certain things and try to figure out, oh my gosh, why is this happening? Or you may just want to let go of that experience, but it can be just really hard to let go of certain thoughts maybe. So there can be certain thoughts that you have that are quite difficult to push away. But yet with Neptune retrograde, it's these thoughts that are maybe things that are unexplainable, things that you just can't seem to figure out and get to the bottom of, because, this could be certain thoughts about the universe or about why we're here and why we exist. There's so many things that we don't know. There's so many things that we still have to discover. And so if you get caught up on certain narratives that we can't figure out the answer to, then if you can't figure out that answer but you still can't get it out of your head, that can be difficult. So maybe learning how to appreciate, how you think, how you may be different in the ways in which you think, that it's not just this black and white way of doing it. Whilst yes, we live in a physical world where there is this very black and white way of perceiving the world around us, with the way you see things, you may see it as much more bigger than that, much more grandiose than that. So maybe learning how to do things that can get you into your imagination, that can get you into that flow, can be really beneficial for you. So the likes of poetry, the likes of photography, art, film, just writing, anything to tap into your unconscious, anything to tap into the symbolism and into your own mind, and letting it all out, letting it all flow naturally, rather than getting into these loops where you can go back and forth between, is this right, is this wrong, is this right, is this wrong, or over the certain thought patterns that were put there from authority, or the certain thought patterns that were put there from conditioning. But learning how to strip that back and actually personalize it for yourself. So being your own creative person, where you get lost in your imagination, you're okay with stepping into that space, you're okay with trying to find the symbolism in movies or books that you read, or trying to find the deeper meaning in how you perceive other people and your relationships with other people, but also learning how to also develop the boundaries again, okay? At the same time, because you may be gullible, you may sort of go along with what people are saying, but you know what? At the same time, you may have this inner knowing that, oh my gosh, this person is not being honest. Oh my gosh, I can see right through this person. And you might have the ability to do that. But even if you see right through people, you may still go along with it. You may still take part in it. Maybe this could have been at school, that you took part in certain things that were associated with drugs or partying too much or doing things that were quite rebellious. Now you do have an Aquarius on the IC, okay, and you've got Uranus there as well in Aquarius, so there can be this tendency of you being a pretty rebellious kid. Growing up, you might have just done things that were completely, not within the law, going by the law. You may know how to think outside of the box. You may go to the extreme when it comes to things. So I think what's important to keep in mind here is just your health. You've got your North Node in Virgo, got this Virgo energy. Learning how to appreciate your body, your health, your well-being, and if you do take part in certain things that are done to follow the crowd in that way, because you're going with their current, trying not to get so caught up in them, and trying to come from a much more efficient, practical viewpoint, trying to remove yourself from certain people that are toxic or that pull you in without much reason. So learning maybe how to really think for yourself, whilst just, knowing that you can escape into your imagination and you can do things that can ignite your imagination and your own creativity in that way. But at the same time, removing yourself from people, situations, relationships that can just place you into situations that are not healthy for you, that don't feel good, that can result in your body taking a hit, can result in your health taking a hit, can result in your own future aspirations, your own hopes and your wishes for the future taking a hit. So ultimately, learning how to really get real about the practical steps that you can take in order to contribute to the group in a way that's beneficial for all. So rather than getting into these really vague, self-indulgent fantasies when it comes to the things you're creating, to things that you want to see in the world, but to actually be practical about it, to commit yourself to things, to stick with things. If you want to see something really materialize, learning how to commit to that thing, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a job, whether that's a project, whether that's a certain family that you want for the future, whatever it is, creating a system that's organizing, that's specific to you and what your needs are, what your goals are, what you want to create. But also, taking time to do things that are not necessarily associated with work or practicality, but also being able to escape into the imaginary world. And I think that by you taking the time to do that, or, sort of escaping every once in a while, relaxing, retreating every once in a while to revitalize your energy, that can also help you. It can help your relationships. It can help you meet your goals. It can help you with your energy levels. So yeah, I'm trying to get that balance right, I think here may be important. So the importance of switching off, okay? The importance of letting go. The importance of taking time to revitalize your energy. Doing things that can help you relax. Doing things that can help you unwind. And, you could do this as well with other people. You could do this. You could go on an adventure somewhere. You could go with your partner to some sort of retreat together. That's a possibility. But whatever it is you choose to do to relax, to let go, just trying to take the time to do that may be very beneficial for you. But also maybe learning how to be more open when it comes to your friendships and the sort of people that you want to associate yourself with, or the type of community that you want to contribute to or be a part of. Keeping yourself open, being open to different opportunities and experiences and people, rather than, feeling like, oh my gosh, it's all very closed, or you feel like you're just combative against others and critical against others. But seeing that, there's qualities about others that you can appreciate and associate with and like and resonate with. There's so many people in the world, right? There's so many people, and I'm sure that you can find a certain group of people to be with or be around and feel that it's right, feel like it's enough, feel like, yeah, these people get me. Or even if they don't fully get you, that you're willing to put your own critical ways of thinking to the side and to be more accepting, or just be more giving, or be more serving towards others. Because hey, we're all going through our own thing, we're all experiencing life, and we're trying to do the best we can. So yeah, trying to accept people may be something here, but at the same time also removing yourself away from toxic relationships that just no longer serve you as well.
Okay, trackers, so that concludes your birth chart reading. Again, thank you so much for purchasing. Now, if you do have any questions that you would like to ask me, then go right ahead. And also, if you have any feedback that you would like to provide, then that would be greatly appreciated as well. So with all that then being said then, tracker, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you on the next video on Hannah's Elsewhere. Bye!